Yeah, in this video, we're talking about JavaScript function scope. Okay. Okay. Let me just write my what is it called? My HTML structure. Then let me display this now. I think okay. Should I use a lot? Let me just use the element display. So let me just create header one. Let me use lowercase. Let me say hash1. Then inside hash1, I will now give it an ID name. I will say ID and give it h1 as the name. You can give it anything you want. Okay, then next thing I will do is to rank my external CSS file. So I will now rank it by not CSS, but ranking my external JavaScript file, my JavaScript external file. So all I would have to do, I will just say script. Inside the script, then inside the first tag of script, I will now add src, which represents source. Is an attribute of is an attribute to this script element. Then I will now add the name of the folder, the name of the file, which is java index.js. I will now say index.js. Okay, so having done this now, I'm done with JavaScript. So the next thing that I'll be doing now is to add more screen to my JavaScript. So I will now come here now. So we're talking about JavaScript function scope. Okay, or function scope in JavaScript, either way. So what we want to do now, let me write the code, then I will explain. So I will use function. Let me use function and give it a name of, let's say, sum, and then give it a parameter. Then open this what's it called, statement block. Then inside I will now say something like I will declare a variable and give it a name. Let me say a equal to, let me say 2, then put a semicolon, then say another. Okay, let me just copy, let me just duplicate this, start typing all this. I will not duplicate it. So, and I will not say let me just say 4 here. Okay, so I have now typed this. Okay, let me just say return this function name. So this variable is supposed to be b, is another name. So what I will now do, I will just say return a plus b. Simple as that. Let me just say a plus b. Okay, a plus b, and then put semicolon. Or does I really need to put it inside? Let me put this inside the variable. Let's say var answer answer equal to. Let me give it. Let me say let me say 2 plus, let me say 2 plus, not 2 plus, but rather the variable a plus b. Then I will now return answer, which is our variable that contain the answer. Then put the semicolon. Then I'm supposed to put this thing here. I'm supposed to put a closing block here. Okay. This return is supposed to be inside this function, so it will not break out of the function. So it's not inside the function. So in functions scope, what it actually means is that I can actually what is it called again? I can actually write a function with its variable. You can, like this one now. This variable now is very unique to this. Is only used by this function. You cannot call this variable outside this function and it will respond. It's not possible. It will tell you undefined. It's only this function that have access to this variable inside here. Okay, to do that, let me do something now so you understand what I mean. So let me just call the function and say let me say document.write let me write sum. Let me make sure this thing is working. Let me say sum, put sum. Let's refresh our page, see what happens. What is happening? Why? No, I'm supposed to add the function parameter, so I'll be calling the function. Okay, so what is happening? Why is it not responding? Let me refresh again. Document, no, not document, just document.write. Document.write, that's my badge. Document.write supposed to print out something that says 6, which is our value. That's what it returned to us. Okay, so I think it's too small. Let me make use of what's it called again? Let me make use of mm, instead of this now, let me just use alert. Alert will be more straightforward. just be popping up the data bus to help the restoration very fast. So let me say alert, alert. Inside this alert, I will now open a parameter and then give it the sum, um, which is our function. So I will say sum inside this place now. Let me close and refresh it again. So it will give us 6 as our answer. You can see that 6. Okay, now so to illustrate this function scope now, to show you that this function now cannot be used outside. You cannot use this function outside here. So let me do that so you understand what I mean. So let me create this function name here. Okay, then I will now say something like let me just alert a. Okay, I want to access if a variable, okay, without the function. So let's see what will happen. Let me close this. Let's refresh. You can see now it's not responding anything. It's not responding anything. Okay, I say alert. I want to access this function now. It's not accessing anything. You can see that. But if I want to access this a inside this variable, I can actually just come to this return and just put the variable that I want to return, which is this a now, and then come here and then call the function and say sum, and then open the parameter. Let's refresh and see what will happen. You can see now it returns the value of the variable a. So that means you cannot access a variable that is unique, kind of a variable that is unique to a function outside the function block. That variable, this variable now, is only used by this function. You cannot call it outside the function. You cannot. It's only the function that have access to it and can make use of it. Okay. You can actually create another function now. You can create another function. Instead of another function, you can create. Let me do that. I think it will help this tutorial. Let me duplicate it. Let me duplicate this. Let's say shift at down arrow key. Then let me give this one. Let me, instead of sum, I will now give it um, subtraction. Let me say sub for subtraction. Then what I will now do, I will now put minus here, so it will look different. So another thing I will do now, I will change this value, this variable to the values to, let me say something like 12, and then change this one now to, let me say 10. Okay, so if I call this function now, let me return I'll return answer. This is supposed to be answer. Okay, so let me just call the variable. You also see that this second one now, even if I put a here now, the alert will not give me any output. Let me refresh. It's not giving me any output, showing that this um and this a is not in existence. It does not see it. Is not defined. Okay, it's not outside the function. It's not seeing any variable. But if I want to have access to the function, to the variable inside the function, I'll just, since I have return here, let me put I want to return the variable a. I want to return a and also return a for this one. So what I will now do, I will just say I'll call the name of the function, this second one, which is sub, and just put the parameter, and then let's refresh. Let me close this and refresh, so you see the effect. You can see it's giving me 12. Okay, showing that this thing is within this fun this one is for this function, so I cannot have access to it except through this function. Okay, so if I replace this thing with add, it will give me 2. Let me do that. Let me say no, if I replace it with sum, which is sum now, let's see what the dialog box will give us. It will give us 2. It will give us 2, showing that to have access to the variable inside this function, you must access it through a function. Okay, that is the only way, because if in normal circumstance, if I just declare a variable, normal variable, outside the function, and then say something like a equals to 2, and then come under it and say a equals to 12, what it will do is that anytime I put this a value, it will give me the one at the bottom, which is the latest one that I updated, because you can change the value of the variable. Okay, so having said this, this is the simple video on function scope in JavaScript. Okay, so know that you cannot access JavaScript a variable that is unique to a function outside the function block, and then you can actually use the same variable name in different functions with different unique values. Okay, it's just unique to that function. It is only that function that knows what its variable have. Okay, so I think that's the best explanation for this. Okay, having said this, I'll say thank you for watching. See you in the next video.